Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio here in beautiful Little Falls, New York. It's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
And what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 22 of Marty's Illegal Stick, being recorded here on April 21st, 2021. Episode 22, Double Deuce. That movie Roadhouse. Dad, maybe we'll start calling you Dalton. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. I like the other guy there, Sam Elliott.
Yeah. It's funny. I just watched that movie the other day, but enough about Roadhouse. So we're going to get on with our show here. We got a really cool guest coming on today. Just want to bring in our panel first. First of all, of course, leading us off, my father, Leo Kinville. Leo, how are you?
Oh, top shelf, except I have to laugh because your wife said today that one of the kids in her class said the Santa Claus is coming because of all the snow. I just couldn't get it. It's April, and we're getting ready to shovel.
Well, just as long as we're going to make a guest appearance, right?
Yeah. I thought I'd be driving my car the way it started there.
Oh, and up next, coming to us from his mobile studio in his car, on his way to the rink, of course, Mr. Jeremy Roberts. What's going on, Jeremy? Oh, I don't know if he can hear us or not. We think we might have lost him. You there, Jeremy? Oh, we lost the audio. All right. Well, we'll try to get back to him. All right. So, filling in for. Oh, is he back? Nope. I think you're muted, Jeremy. But anyways, we'll work on that in just a second. So, filling in for the doctor of hockey, Keith Levatino, who had a meeting this week and couldn't be with us. Our buddy from the Rink of Dreams, Mr. Barry Shelley. Barry, how are you?
Good, Scott. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Well, anyways, I want to bring in our guest now. Our guest is Mr. Zamboni, you could say. We've been got our Zamboni Time Machine, which is our hockey segment here on our show for everybody who listens. And I told you our story about a month or so ago about how I contacted the Zamboni company, and they put me in touch with this gentleman, Mr. Jimmy, the Iceman MacNeil. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And it's nice to be called a gentleman because after all the years in the rink, I'll tell you that I never get called that.
Not even once?
Not once. I answer to "Hey you," "Hey Iceman." And there's some bleep bleep.
Hurry up! We want to get on the ice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Jimmy, where are you coming to us from?
I'm coming from it's actually called the County of Brant, which is just a little farming community, sort of. We're starting to become, more houseworthy per se, but just outside the city of Brantford. And you may have heard of the city of Brantford from some, famous hockey players that have come out of the city of Brantford. And it's guys like Pat Hickey, Keith Jones. You got
Greg Stefan,
Keith Gretzky.
Yeah, some Gretzky family or something.
Yeah.
Some
Only
flash in the pan.
So rivaled by the Grattan family, who had Chris, Danny, and Josh all playing at one time or another. And right now, actually, Adam Henrique from a little town called Burford, that's just a neighbor of mine, and Brandon Montour, who happens to be a good friend. My son is the director of player personnel for a team out of Caledonia, Ontario, which is close to where your friend Marty McSorley lived. And my son is the director of player personnel. And Brandon Montour came up through that organization and was one of their defensemen. So I got to know him very well. He's a great guy. And, it's my life inside the rink goes outside too, with my son being as involved in hockey as he is.
That's really interesting. Have you talked to Brandon lately, or?
Not since he's been traded anyway, but I'm sure he's, how could you go wrong going from Florida?
Yeah, I'm sure he's not complaining about the weather right now.
Not at all. No snow to shovel, that's for sure.
So, Jimmy, when did you get your start with the Zambonis?
Well, okay. So you guys got a few minutes or a few hours?
Absolutely.
Well,
We got as long as you want, my friend.
okay. So uh, my history with the Zamboni as a machine goes way back. Maybe in the background, you can see the logos on the wall that I've collected. Actually, I didn't collect them. My father collected them. He
Mhm.
was the first Zamboni repairman in all of Canada. So what
Wow.
that meant was back in 1963, there was a machine broke down in the city of Hamilton, and the Zamboni Corporation needed a mechanic up this way. And through a friend of a friend, they got a hold of my dad because he was a farm equipment repairman as well as he liked Jeeps. He was a Jeep nut and he could fix just about anything. My dad, honestly, was one of the greatest mechanics that I ever knew. So he got called to go to Hamilton, and as they say, the rest is history. He fixed that machine in Hamilton, and shortly afterward became the supplier and repair depot for the Zambonis in all of Ontario and most of Canada. I mean, my father traveled the
Wow.
country repairing machines, and so that was the start. So as a kid, I grew up on a farm, had a family. I had 8 siblings. So we all at one time or another worked for my father doing silly little things, the old machines that had the chain paddles on them. He would pay us 10 cents a paddle to change those paddles, stuff that he didn't have to do, but it gave us work to do.
Right.
And, after about 45, 50 cents, I was ready to quit. But, you know what? So, but you know what? My dad was a great guy. He made sure that we all did something in and around his garage. And like I said, I have 6 sisters, and every one of them has worked on a Zamboni. My brother was a great mechanic as well. Sadly, my father and my brother have both passed. So I'm sort of at the last of this line of MacNeil Zamboni history. And again, I'm just going to keep talking here. You guys
Oh no.
tell me to stop whenever you want if you get
Well,
bored.
actually, I do have a quick question for you.
Yes.
So you mentioned your dad was also into Jeeps. Now,
Yeah.
the original Zambonis, those were on Jeep chassis, weren't they?
Absolutely, and that's why they called him to go and see if he could fix this machine because it was on a Jeep chassis. In fact, just trying to see. I'm sitting at my this is my house bar that I'm at right now, and my wife only allowed me this 12 by 12 area to decorate. So I'm gonna try and move around here so you
make
can
that the
see
main
some.
screen? Can you make that the main screen or? While you're doing that, Jim, I'm just to see if he can blow the screen up. That's all.
Okay.
There.
Well,
Oh, beautiful.
all right,
There we
see?
go.
Now there's the very first Zamboni ever built back in 1949. That was built out of whatever they could find at the scrapyard. So I mean, that's
Wow.
the history of the machine. The painting in the middle, that was my father's garage that he built in 1967 to bring in the Zambonis because we did a lot of work. They brought in anywhere from 6 to 10 machines for overhauls every summer. And then my father would spend the rest of the year on the road repairing. And I actually got to drive that very first machine. They have it restored, and I believe they still use it occasionally at the Zamboni plant in California. So it was quite a surprise and a thrill for me to be able to drive that machine. Like I said, I'm a Zamboni nut here. You guys got to realize that everything I have back here is Zamboni. I've got the original 6 buildings up there.
Oh wow.
And below here, I have
That's
the
awesome.
original 6 Zambonis that went with them.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, these are things I've collected over the years through work, being around people, and they say, "Oh, what do I do with this?" I say, "Well, give it to me because I'll take it."
Sure.
So
That's
I
probably the
gotta.
most important
She
thing in
sounds
life,
like
those
Mary.
things are,
Well, my father told me that as long as I'm alive, he will never die because he would never throw anything out. So there's the top shelf of my bar is got the Zamboni Driver of the Year trophy in the center, the 1999. There's some Zambinis up there, the Beanie Baby machines.
Uh-huh.
Next shelf down, I've got actually I've got 4 of the original 6 hockey pucks. I'm trying to get the New York Rangers and who else do I need? Let me see here. I need
Let's see. I see Detroit.
Boston. I need Boston and New York, but
Okay.
that's a plan. So I hope you guys don't mind me doing this right now.
No, not at all.
Well, he
This-
needs
this-
what,
this-
a New York Ranger puck.
Yes,
Didn't I give you one?
I think you did.
Send it to him.
All right. Well, there you go. See,
Right.
we got
Well-
you taken care of.
Okay. And now this is perhaps one of the coolest things I have going. Over the years, I know it's kind of hard to see, and I'm trying to show you. These are all autographed Zambonis I've collected. Now, this one in the center, you might know this guy. He's from Brantford, Wayne Gretzky.
Uh huh.
This one is signed
Name
by
sounds familiar.
yeah. I think him and his brother still hold the record for the most points. Wayne got like 37,000 million, and
Yeah, Keith got 3 or something. Right?
and Brent or Keith or whoever Keith got 1, and they hold the record. That's awesome. This one has Gordie Howe, Doug Gilmore, and Daryl Sittler autographed that one for me.
Wow.
I've got Ron McLean and Don Cherry over here.
Oh.
Adam Henrique and Zach Delpy, who's another player that's in and out of the NHL from around Brantford. I've got director Kevin Smith signed one for me. Canadian comedian Ron James signed one for me. And I've over here, I've got the winner of the Canadian Idol, which they don't do anymore. Brian Mello was his name.
Mhm.
And he doesn't work anymore, I don't think. But this one signed by Our Lady Peace lead singer. Jesus, his name.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So, and I've had people do up, not sure if you can see the stone. Somebody painted up a Snoopy stone for me, and I've collected those. Again, when I drove across Canada, I had our pictures taken with the Stanley Cup. It was one of the riders on the machine with us. And, these are honestly, as they say, the tip of the iceberg.
What's that right behind you? With the Z there and the.
Yes. Okay. This is what my father had collected over the years. This is the very first Zamboni logo ever made.
Oh, wow.
So
That's awesome.
now what had happened was they built Zambonis in Brantford, the city of Brantford. So Frank Zamboni, who runs it here in Canada, he was asking me what I had in the way of, anything for the Zamboni, because they want to open up a little museum. So I gave him the original one, as long as I could make one for my own. So this is a fake, but it's identical to the one I gave him. And we have the other Zamboni logos. These are tags off machines. One's the 123rd machine ever built. This one, I forget, there's number 45. So just different things. And at one time, Zamboni was owned by a company named SMI out of Montreal when they kind of put a hold on their rights here in Canada. And I've got the key here from the Zamboni that I drove across Canada.
Wow.
Across Canada.
And I love that frame.
Thank you. I made that.
Did you?
Yeah. Now this is actually over here is another very proud moment. Gordie Howe autographed this poster to me. So I have I had a frame done up for it as well. So this is sort of the back of my bar. And I've got are you guys familiar with Tim Hortons coffee?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Every time I go out to Buffalo, I have to make sure I stop just about every Tim Hortons on the way. So
well, there you go. Okay. In 2004, I was one of their True Stories for their 40th anniversary. So I got my picture plastered all over their cups, all over their donut boxes, everything you could throw into a garbage can. I was on it. So,
Jimmy, are you
and-
recyclable?
yeah. I must be, because the funny part was when my picture appeared on it, my wife stopped going to Tim Hortons. So, but we're still married 32 years later. And, like I said,
Congratulations.
well, thank you. And I don't know, right there, this is a picture of my father that I keep on the bar too. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, right here. This is my father. He was from Nova Scotia originally. And like I said, quite the mechanic. And yeah, I'm sorry that, he's not around, but this is the kind of things he lived for, was to do repairs. The other proud thing I've got here, you guys probably know what Trivial Pursuit.
Mhm.
All right. So the Canadian Trivial Pursuit 20th anniversary edition. The question is, what did Brantford's Jimmy MacNeil maneuver to become 1999's Driver of the Year, icing out the Detroit Red Wings' Al Sabatka? So I made Trivial Pursuit, which is
Wow.
which is, when I have one of my bosses call me and say, "Hey, did you know you're an answer and you're a question in Trivial Pursuit?" I said, "No." Does that get me a raise? Well, the answer was no. So
Hey, they get you a free cup of Tim Hortons, right?
yeah, well, yeah, that was yes, Tim Hortons.
So tell me, how did that come about, becoming Driver of the Year?
Well, all right. So in 1999, you probably, through your research and your research department there, you probably know that the Zamboni Corporation or company was celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Mhm.
So the idea was to have a contest, and because of the size of it, it was for all of North America. They decided to have an internet contest to choose the Zamboni Driver of the Year. So they had lots of people signing up for it. I wasn't even really aware of it until Kathy Zamboni, who is the wife of Frank that lives here in Brantford. She called me and said, "Hey, Jim, the guys at the plant are upset because they've got this contest going on, and they've got Matthew McConaughey on there. They've got Garth Brooks. They've got Burt Reynolds and some other sports celebrities that have driven Zambonis. And these people are on the list." But they
They
said,
drove Zambonis, really?
actually, yes, Garth Brooks
Wow.
liked to play hockey, and he was allowed to drive the Zamboni and do a flood while he was between concerts. They went to play hockey, and they allowed him to drive it. So disqualified him for the Driver of the Year. So and Richard Petty was in this too, because he opened driving the machine, and so she said,
Did he
these
set the
guys
speed record for a Zamboni?
went as slow as it could. I'll tell you, when the guys used to yell, "Can that thing go any faster?" I'd say no. And or yes, it can, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So with these people being in the contest, she said, "The guys here at the plant, put your name in, because I used to go on this radio station in Hamilton and tell a joke of the day for the morning DJs, right? I got to know them just because I'm a pain in the rear end, and I would call them all the time, so they got to know me, and they said, yeah, do a joke." So I do jokes. And so because I got to be known that way, Kathy Zamboni said, "Well, we put your name in, and we got you. You had to get 50 votes to get into the big list." So I got the 50 votes. Well, next thing I knew, I'm getting the Toronto, some papers in Toronto called me, and they want to do a story on it. I said, "Yeah, okay, sure." So they put this little blurb in the paper about the Zamboni Driver of the Year being this guy from Brantford. He's, so gonna be Canada's driver. So all of a sudden it gets to be bigger and bigger, and I get this call from, well, just about every paper in Canada. I was front page news, but a comedian by the name of Mike Bullard, a Canadian gentleman, had me on his show. So he said, he got me on. He said, Jim, I'm going to make sure you win this contest. So every night after his show, he put up vote for Jimmy the Iceman at www.zamboni.com. And every person he brought on to his talk show, he'd say, hey, have you heard about that guy, the Iceman, Jimmy MacNeil? So then he'd say, well, you better make sure you vote for him. Well, next thing I know, I got the city of Brantford, because I worked for the city of Brantford. They're pumping out votes and getting me votes from everybody. And all of a sudden, I'm across Canada. And I got guys from Vancouver calling me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because their shows, they're doing a show, or from the East Coast, and they want to interview me. And my wife, man, she was getting upset. She said, can you go to another room and answer the phone, or just don't answer it? So,
hello, contest over. Click.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a media whore because I love the interviews. I love talking to all these people, and I would be up day and night getting calls from all. And then they started coming to my work, and everybody wanted to interview me at work. So then they started to make it easier. They started interviewing my bosses, which made it so much easier. And then the mayor of the city of Brantford was behind me, and all the council people. So it got to be quite a thing. And then, as it went along, I was, 1 and 2 with Al Sabatka, the driver from the Detroit Red Wings. He's the head ice maker there. He's also one of the managers. So it got to be between Al and myself, going back and forth, top first and second. I mean, this was it was funny to me, and he was having a good time with it because he used to call, and we actually, got to know each other through this, because he would call me and say, hey, it's Al. I'm going to take you out, man. Like you're done. Yeah. And that was all fun and games until all of a sudden we got a death threat, and I'm thinking, "Oh, hey, this isn't fun anymore." Like, what the heck?
Wait a second.
Yeah, because some of the Detroit fans took it pretty serious. Like, and they would see they had their big jumbotron saying "Vote for Al," and some of the radio DJs down there took to saying some pretty nasty things about my wife. And then the Zamboni company got involved and said, this has got to stop, because, this is supposed to be fun. And I said, yeah, man,
Yeah, right.
I'm all for it. Because, me and my brother are going to meet you, Al. And but I drove in an arena luckily, if I had 100 fans a night for a hockey game, he had 20,000.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. And the way it worked, it turned out I won. Very lucky, very fortunate. And in fact, I've been mentioned in several books. So this book is pretty dear to my heart, because this mentions Al Sabatka and myself in the contest. And Al, actually, a friend of mine from Sarnia, goes to a lot of Detroit games. He went down and he got Al Sabatka to autograph this book to me. So I thought that's pretty good. Al's a great guy. I'm also a part of the Zamboni podcast, which is Ask a Zamboni Expert. You guys may have heard of that. I'm not sure. Yeah. So occasionally
that's on the Zamboni website.
Yes. Yep, yeah. I get to be a co-host every once in a while. And so when they had Al on and interviewed him, they asked me to come on and, talk to him and surprise him as well. So, I was a dick about it. I read my question off the Trivial Pursuit card to see if he could answer it.
You have an octopus when I got Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah. So I knew I was in trouble when an octopus showed up in my mailbox.
Just the head, no legs.
Yeah, sent out a message. But it was, and this the driver of the year award. I mean, it was a big thing, and they were getting people from not just North America. They had European drivers being put in, and I mean, it was fun. And I certainly, as Andy Warhol once said, one of your American artists, he said, we all get our 15 minutes of fame, and I gotta agree. That's a quote I live by these days, because I got more than my 15 minutes. I like to liken it to a hockey game where I've had 20 more than the whole game, 3 20-minute periods, and I'm in about my 10th overtime because here we go again, you guys interviewing me on your Marty's Illegal Stick podcast. So, this is all fun for me. And
Well, this is great because I mean, I'm assuming Paula contacted you for us.
yes.
And she was wonderful. And I don't know if she told you the story about how this all came about. We have a segment on our show called the Zamboni Time Machine. It's about hockey history. Okay,
Yes.
so that was about 6 weeks ago. I was going through, I'm trying to come up with an idea, and I'm like, hey, how about the history of the Zambonis? It'd be really cool, right? So I go on their website, and I'm looking through all these pictures and all that. And then I see this disclaimer saying that the Zamboni name is trademarked and that basically you're not supposed to be using it without their permission. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
I've been using this all along. I'm going to get sued. I better contact them.
Yeah.
So I contacted them. I told them what was going on. And they were like, it's okay. Just kind of, put it on your website that, just use with permission and all that. So big load off my shoulders. Let me tell you something. But I did. I listened to one of the podcasts they had. I didn't know you were on that podcast.
The one with Alice Vodka?
It was it was the current one they had when I was on the website.
Okay.
You're talking a couple months ago. So
yeah. Okay.
But I didn't know you were on that on a regular. Are you on it on a regular basis or?
A fairly regular, and now they've asked me to do kind of up my game on their podcast. Maybe start interviewing people. I've got through my son. I've got a lot of connections with some hockey players. Rick Natras was a guest I brought on. He played for the Montreal Canadiens. Mike Bullard, the hockey player, not the comedian, but Mike Bullard and my son are very good friends. So they've all been on the program. I'm hoping to get Brandon Montour on because the guy owes me big time. Here's a true story. If you're ever talking to Brandon, you have to ask him about the stone. Because the stone. Brandon is a native North American, and I used to pick up stones. My father found this perfectly triangular shaped stone, smooth as anything. And I held onto that rock and I showed Brandon and I said, this is going to help you. I said, you better understand that this is one of your culture, you have to understand that this is a good thing. So take this stone, rub your stick, do whatever you have to do with it because you're going to go places. And next thing you know, he's in the NHL, and I'm laughing because I said it's all because of that stone. I want the stone back. I don't care how good he does it. But anyway, that's a true story. And Brandon Montour is one of the greatest guys I've ever met going through that hockey organization. And there's been a lot of people. So, I look forward to speaking to him again. And I'm sorry I'm getting off topic here. But,
that's okay.
But, the Zamboni, it's when you say you had to check and make sure you could use the name disclaimer and everything. Well, after the Zamboni Driver of the Year, if you don't mind me going ahead, just like a couple of years past that,
feel free, my friend.
Had the Goodyear Drive for Gold. I don't know if you've heard about that. You can research it. You can Google search it. What it was a Zamboni, a specially built Zamboni that we drove across Canada. Well, we took to 79 cities across Canada, and we left from St. John's, Newfoundland, and right out to Victoria Island. So the whole country, we traveled about 15,000 kilometers, which is 9,000 miles roughly. And what the machine was built so that people could ride it with me. So they would ride the machine. This was in 2001. So from September 2001 till January 2002, we took this machine across Canada to talk about grassroots hockey in Canada, to raise awareness for the Canadian Hockey Association, as well as the men's and ladies Olympic hockey teams that were headed to Salt Lake City in 2002. Wow. So it turned out pretty good because the men's and ladies teams both won gold. And that was all part of the tour. So we drove through these cities, and just getting back to your disclaimer, I wrote a children's book about the trip, but I was always having trouble, and I'm pretty close with the Zambonis. They just, kind of put it off. But then finally Paula said, "Hey, if you want to do your book up and, use the name, here's what you have to say." So it meant I had to rewrite the whole book because it rhymes. It was a rhythmical story. I mean, there's a lot of words that rhyme with Zamboni, like baloney and Tony, but
Right.
Joni. But all of a
It's like
sudden,
that song.
yeah. But then I had to come up with the new title, the Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. So then I had to rewrite it and have everything rhyme with ice machine, which I did it. And in 2017, I actually, I wish I hadn't, but I did. I self-published the book, and to date, I've sold about 500 copies and kind of put the brakes on it. But this year, 2021, is actually the 20th anniversary of the Goodyear Drive for Gold. So, I mean, we were pretty successful in raising over $1 million for the Canadian Hockey Association, and people would say, well, $1 million, there's that many kids playing hockey in Canada. What did that get each of them? $1? No, the idea was to pay for programs and teaching for the coaches, the trainers, and so that people knew what isn't acceptable in the hockey world anymore. I mean, we've come a long way since, guys like Howie Meeker. I met Howie Meeker in Victoria. He rode the Zamboni with me. He became quite a nice, good friend. He sent me all these pictures of himself. I mean, how many times do you see a Toronto Maple Leaf with the Stanley Cup? Not very often, and I've got one. I've got an original.
You said that, not me.
So yeah.
Is that book available like on Amazon?
No, it's not. Actually, the company that my publishing company that I was working with, because of COVID, they went belly up. So I've been putting out feelers, trying to see if anybody might be interested in helping me pick this up and put it out there for the 20th anniversary. For you guys, I mean, I've got some copies that I signed for people, but they never picked them up. So, I mean, if you don't mind one that's signed to Finn, I'll send it to you.
I'll take it. I'll just call myself Finn.
or I can make it look like Ben, but Scott's a stretch. But yeah, this book, I maybe upper state New York's got some good hockey. Somebody that's interested in this, maybe not, because it's a Canadian story. All the cities are.
Well, there'll be a lot of people involved with that. Yes,
absolutely.
And it's definitely a collector's item. It's a children's book, but I've had a lot of adults buy it and read it and say, "Wow, I'm tooting my own horn here, but I'm pretty proud of this book." And I dedicated it to my brother when we traveled the country. My brother came on as my mechanic, so we got to travel Canada together at a slow pace, and we met. I mean, what they did was they sold the seats for $20.02, that being the 2002 Olympic symbol, so that people could ride the machine with me, and everybody got a kilometer, which is close to a mile. And anyway, we did that and met thousands of people, and just had a good time doing it, and lots of fun promoting the game of hockey across Canada. I had a rider from Australia show up, never seen a Zamboni before, but was learning how to skate. So that was a big thing for her. Several people from the US, somebody from Toledo drove in and caught a ride in Windsor, Ontario. So yeah, it was a pretty big deal. And like I said, a lot of fun, great people.
So how did that work though? Because you said you went between 79 cities. So I'm assuming that between the cities was on a trailer, correct?
Correct.
Because if you were driving it, I mean, you'd probably still be driving. I imagine, right?
Yeah. I would.
So sorry, I had to.
Yeah. No.
So you drove the Zamboni once you got into the city.
Correct. Yep. We would start every morning at 7 a.m., load up, and be wherever we had to start. And most cities gave us till 4 or 5 o'clock at night. And that meant a rider every 15 minutes. And then we'd stop for lunch. We'd go to they'd have an event going on so that we could go there and display the Zamboni. People could take pictures. We also had a hockey, a museum, the Hockey Hall of Fame on wheels is what we called it. I mean, it was pretty much filled with Wayne Gretzky memorabilia because, I mean, it's still too much, but they put in they put in everything.
You
in
poor
this
thing. Right.
Well, and it was great. This was amazing. The stuff they had in there, and the trophies and the equipment, and I mean, it was great. People would come and visit this museum, and it was all free. They'd check out the Zamboni, they'd ask questions. I was interviewed by radio stations. The city of Brantford that I worked for as an ice maker, but like I always say, it's cooler if I say Zamboni driver because nobody cares about an ice maker. But as soon as I say Zamboni driver, man, I got their attention. So the city of Brantford came on as a sponsor, and they paid whatever money for advertising, but they also allowed me to go on this trip and take a break from my work. But I still got paid because I would promote the city across Canada. So like I said, 79 different cities. We would drive through these cities with riders on every kilometer. And of course, Trans-Canada Highway is not the place you want to be driving a Zamboni in,
Probably not.
December, February, but but anyway, it was slow, but like I said, it's a great way to see the country. I got to see a lot of relatives I haven't seen for years and made new friends, and that's sort of what the book is about, is just telling kids how great hockey fans in Canada are, because I mean, this happened so many years ago, like 20 years ago, obviously. But kids don't know about these sorts of things. So it was exciting to be part of it.
Jimmy, if you can go back to your book again, if you can get Scott some of that information, I'd love to buy 2 of those anyway from you,
Okay.
from my 2 youngest granddaughters.
All right. Yeah, that's not a problem.
I'd definitely like to do that.
Okay.
Definitely for my son. My son would love that.
I will rustle some up. I've got the guy that prints them. Now that I don't have a publisher, it's cheaper to buy them.
I heard Barry say that his middle name is Ben. Did Barry say that?
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll see if I can't rustle up some books, and you tell me how many you need there, and I'll get them sent off to you as soon as I can.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I got that old Rangers puck I can send to you too.
Okay.
So,
All right.
afterwards, we can just we'll text back
Yep.
addresses and all that. So, just out of curiosity, about how fast does a Zamboni get up to, as far as miles per hour?
Okay, so miles per hour, maybe about 5 miles an hour, 5, 6. Stretching it would be 9. I mean,
Okay.
I could do a mile in less than 15 minutes. How's that?
Well, there's a method to my madness, see, because
I can
You're gonna
barely do
ask-
a mile in
you're gonna
less
ask
than 50
how long
minutes.
that's
well, when I came up with the Zamboni Time Machine, the whole idea was the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So I figured if there was a flux capacitor on a Zamboni, if it hit 8 miles an hour instead of 88 miles an hour,
Yeah.
I know.
I gotta say, the guy at the Utica Auditorium, I think he might have been drunk once, because I swear to God, he was doing a 45 miles an hour.
It only looks that way.
He had a turbo charger on it or something.
Well,
It
to be
only
fair,
looks
they're
that
there all
fast.
night long.
Oh yeah.
Jerry, Barry, you guys got any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Do you recall the first woman that drove a Zamboni in a National Hockey League game? I have a huge collection of the hockey news from the 50s all the way up to the 90s. And they have a whole page article on the woman, has her picture, and I believe it was for the St. Louis Blues.
Okay,
Do you
see, that's
recall?
no, and that's beyond me, because I was under the impression the first woman that drove in the National Hockey League was with the Florida Panthers, and she was a Canadian, but I really couldn't tell you if that's
Okay,
true or
because
not.
before I knew you were coming on last week, I was going through all my collections, and also I just came upon that, and it was
Okay.
from, I think it was during the 1972-1973 year.
Okay.
and I'm gonna have to find that. And if you'd like it, I'd be more than willing to send it to you for your
Oh, wow.
collection.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I don't want to. I don't want you guys to give up stuff that you want to keep or anything like that. And just,
No.
but that would be awesome, and my wife would appreciate it too. I'm sure.
Hey, we just want to contribute to the man cave.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, now with that picture on the back wall of the original 6 stadiums and the original 6, did each stadium get their own?
Yes,
Zamboni?
yes, they did. When they opened, they got their machines. You can see they all have chain models.
Right.
And there's one that's on the Jeep. Montreal got one on a Jeep. Toronto had a self-propelled. Looks like Boston had a Jeep. And these other ones actually had Wisconsin engines in them. They were a different build. So, and as far as the logos go, it's hard to see, but these are some of the ones that I have on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. It kind of gives me an era of when they were first brought in.
That's cool. That's just those 2 pictures are amazing.
Well, I was very fortunate. One of my bosses, where I worked for one of the rinks for 25 years, she had this one and she asked me if I'd be interested in it. I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brought it home that day and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is really cool.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I've been very fortunate in this. And again, I've made several different books. This gentleman, Kevin Sylvester, this is another book. It's called Game Day, and it's about the guys behind the scene. So he came and spent the day with me at the arena, and I got a whole chapter out of it. So it's kind of neat. I'm in that book. And then there's another one called A Canadian Saturday Night, which is a bunch of different
Oh, wow.
stories about, different hockey events and people involved in hockey. Well, there's my favorite, the beer bottle. And there's a Tim Hortons logo. So these are, books that I've been mentioned in, and I don't know, I don't know if it's being that I'm just like a kid all over again. I've never grown up, and this has been a part of my life. So it's been pretty cool. The Drive for Gold book. This was the book they put together after the event. That's how thick it was. Those are all the cities, any newspaper articles, television articles that I appeared in or on.
Wow.
They've got them all in here, and it shows the map of across Canada, pictures of people on the machine, etc. Let me see if I might have a picture here in the front of the book, I think, that will kind of give you an idea what the machine was like.
Was that a chain-driven machine or?
No, no, it was a gas powered, and the reason for that was because they didn't want propane freezing when we got up into Thunder Bay and out west into some of those places. But fortunately, it was one of the warmest winters on record, although we did have 2 days where it was minus 29, which is minus 29 Celsius. So that's a chilly drive, but but I was kind of used to it. So I'm sorry, I can't. I wish I had better pictures to show
No,
you.
that's fine. That's
I should have
awesome.
I should have went and I got so many boxes of stuff here that I just couldn't even begin to start searching for what I should bring on. I got a picture of Pat Quinn when myself and Pat Quinn, the coach, former coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, no longer with us. And I mean, I've met the Hanson brothers, guys like that. Those are people that made this what I've done so much fun and just incredible over the years. People say, well, a Zamboni driver, what do? You go out on the ice for 10 minutes and then you sit in your room all day. I said, no, not at all. I drive for 10 minutes thinking of things that I can write down in books and different things that I could, if I could get this machine to do that. What I'd really like to see is you build a hot tub out of one of these machines. We'll order one. We'll order one. Get a hot tub put in it. And I was thinking that the belt could serve drinks and food.
The Zamboni hot tub.
That'd be awesome
Yeah.
right there.
And then go to a football game and park it in the end zone or something.
That would be such a great promotional night, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Me and 7 women. I think that would be awesome.
Your wife's not listening, is she?
There go those 52 years.
Yeah. Get used to that man cave, Jimmy.
No, that's but I see those are the silly things I think of, and this has been my life.
Did you ever make it up to Flin Flon?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever make it up to Flin Flon?
I never did. My father did worked into some of the New York states early in the 70s when they were, getting machines, etc. He would go up there to get them set up and teach people how to drive them. And that's, again, those were things I wish I could have done. I did work for my father for 4 years. I graduated university in 1984. I was thinking of becoming a teacher, but then I realized, I don't know if I could handle all those kids, because one of them would say something wrong and I'd end up punching them out and end of a career. So instead I went to an arena.
The right choice.
I went to an arena where I met millions of kids. And if
you don't have to grade them.
No. And if they ever gave me any trouble, I just went to their parents.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So, again, it was I worked for my father from 1984 to 1988, learning how to repair Zambonis. Traveled Ontario with him. My father was ill, so I did a lot of work on the machines, and I also helped him run his small farm. And then in 1988, again, my girlfriend at the time, she decided to ask me to marry her. So, and like a fool, I said yes. And my father just said, hey, a good idea might be to get a job where you got, benefits, better wages. And, I was having fun working for my dad. Like I said, one of the greatest 4 years. I learned more in those 4 years in probably all my education that I paid for. And, just a great man. So I took his advice, and I got a job in a small town making ice. I was driving the Olympia, but at the same time, I was still learning about machines, and I could repair them. I could do whatever I needed to do. And then in 1991, the city of Brantford had an opening, and the manager was, who knew who I was and knew my abilities, asked me if I'd be interested in applying. And of course I did. And then I spent the next 30 years with the city of Brantford, or 27 years. I retired early because it just got to be at a point, too much politics and not any more fun. So, gone were those days where you could have fun on the job. And
right.
So
the rest, as they say, is history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So
well, this has been great.
This has been fun for me, and I hope you guys don't, like I said, Scott, I hope you don't mind me talking too much. And
no, and as a matter of fact, you're going to have to come back on again sometime.
I'd love to.
That'd
to.
Awesome.
And I would, actually, when all this COVID stuff is over, my plans were to visit some NHL rinks, maybe, take off and go in and see some games. I mean, I was in New York some years ago. My daughter, one of my daughters was just training with the Rockettes, I mean, so, well, she won an award, and this was what she got invited to New York City over the Christmas holidays and New Year's. So we went there, and I couldn't get into any Ranger games. My dream is to get into Madison Square Gardens. I want to see the facility. Hopefully, I can con somebody into let me just take a spin around the ice. at the beginning of the show when I said Pat Hickey was from Brantford,
Mhm.
jokingly, he actually played for the New York Rangers back in the day.
He did.
And when I was going back to New York, I have cousins that live there as well. But when I was going to New York, I contacted Pat again and I said, "Hey, where do I go? What do I look for?" And gave me some places, but he said, "Don't tell them that you know me because they may not let you in if it's still the same people running it." So I kept my mouth shut. But we couldn't get into a Rangers game, and everything was closed down there. So we went down to Jersey to see the Devils play, and got to see Adam Henrique, which was just as well because the one game we went to, they lost 1-0, but Adam had a stellar game, so it was good to see. It was good for my son at the time. He was young. We picked up some hats and souvenirs, and yeah, we had a great time in New York. I love the place, and I'd like to get back there. I realize you guys aren't that far from the city, so if I make it that far, you can definitely count on a visit.
Absolutely. Awesome. We're right in between Syracuse and Albany, so
okay.
That's perfect. We'll have to definitely, once everything opens back up, we'll have to most certainly get something coordinated.
Well, it sounds like fun.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, listen, we really appreciate you coming on. This has been so much fun, and I'll be in contact with you so we can exchange addresses and we'll get you that puck. And again, please feel free to come back on anytime.
Okay. Well, whenever you guys are looking for something to fill space or need something, you let me know.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very welcome. Nice meeting everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Jimmy, thanks a million. That was Jimmy the Iceman MacNeil. That was really cool. That was awesome.
It was. Those pictures were amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Just in the history of just seeing like all the Zambonis and all the stuff that he has.
I know. It's you don't realize there's so much to it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for him. I hope his wife wasn't listening in.
Oh man, I know. I wouldn't get into a lot of trouble.
Seven women in a hot tub will do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, he's on to something though. You think about those outdoor games, and you put
right.
a Zamboni that just sits at each end of the ice. You can make that like a box seat for that game.
Sure.
And I mean, you just sit in a hot tub
a moneymaker,
2.5 hours. You can do that in cold weather. It's easy.
A moneymaker for something special. That's right. Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Innovations on Marty's Illegal Stick. Love it. Oh, well, we're going to end this segment, as we always do, with the infamous Breakaway Trivia. So here it is. In what year was the last NHL game played by a goaltender without a mask? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of Little Falls, New York. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, and our events calendar. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling stories about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of local residents and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store or sign up for our weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back with segment 2 of Marty's Illegal Stick. So I'm going to give you that breakaway trivia question one more time, then I'm going to go around the table for the answers. Now, the question was, in what year was the last NHL game played by a goaltender without a mask? And Dave the Save, you know what? It occurred to me that I forgot to introduce you.
That's all right. I've been talking anyway.
Well, I know, but I feel bad now. So I'm going to give you the first crack at it. Just pick a year. Pick a year out of the thin air.
47.
1947. Okay. Barry, what's your guess?
I know the guy.
Oh,
well,
all right.
Andy Brown.
What was the year?
1974.
Dad?
Ooh, I thought that was. I remember Gary Cheevers there, and in '72 because I was in the service for 4 years, and I got kind of away from hockey a little bit. When I left, they were not wearing masks. When I came home, they were. So
Maybe that was an omen for you.
Wow, I go figure between 69 and 73, but he said 74. I was going to say before that, I was going to say 71.
Okay, Jeremy,
Andy Brown, 74.
Barry, and Jeremy. Ding, 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 ding.
Now, wait a minute. I said 47. I meant 74.
Well,
Oh, yeah. He got and I got to go 0 for 22.
Listen, you're old for 22.
hey, but you know what? He was within the right decade. That's
Yeah,
I had the right numbers.
it's a yeah.
No,
I'll tell you what. Play the lotto and try that.
Don't introduce me anymore. You're going to get all this kind of crap.
Let me reread that question. What year was that?
now, wait a minute. Now, wait. Let's give your dad a second shot here. Who was the first goalie to wear a full face mask?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Boy.
Whoa.
You know, I know the answer to that, but I can't think of his name right now because I'm still reading this question again.
He can't get to his phone quick enough to Google it.
No, I don't know how to Google. I don't do that Google stuff. And what
Listen,
year was the last
that
NHL
ship
game?
sailed.
By a goaltender without a mask?
Shot.
But that drives me crazy. Okay, I can't remember. Boy, I can picture it.
Jeremy's got it.
Oh, Jeremy, yeah, he's right on the ball.
I mean, when I read it on the itinerary thing, I was like, it's funny because my cousin played goalie for years. He played for the for Army, the West Point Academy. So I was talking to him, and he goes, I go, why did you ever start playing goalie? I go, whatever made you do that? And we just started talking about all these random goalies, and and then Andy Brown came up, and we were talking about Jacques Plante that came up. And that was the goalie that wore the first full face in 1959. And I was like, but you weren't even alive then. Like, what made you look at this stuff? He's like, I don't know. It was cool. I was like, all right. And then I saw the question. I'm like, man, your dad's going to be so mad at me.
I had, geez, I remember that now too. But there was in 1960 when I started playing. I was a goaltender and I had a mask, but it was plexiglass. It was probably a half-inch thick, and it looked like a space outfit on there. It was terrible. I hated it.
Yeah.
But that's what we had to wear.
You know what the sad part is you guys are right that the answer is 1974, and it was Andy Brown when we played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. Now, I am his only son, and I was born in 1974. So you could have just guessed the year I was born.
Could get you
but you're
born. Yeah, boy.
Scott,
you and your mother.
When do we get the prize?
What's that, Barry?
When do we get the prize?
I'll be sending those White Rose donuts out soon. I just hope that they're still fresh.
I want in the hot tub.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to talk to Jimmy about that one. It was his idea.
Yeah.
So just send up some 8 women.
It's funny that all the old men here can't forget the women in the hot
I know,
tub.
right? Yeah. The show's starting to go off the rails in a hurry here.
Oh, jeez.
Well, let's get you guys' mind back on track and go to some hot takes before we really get into trouble here, okay? Hot take number 1. Congratulations to Patrick Marleau for breaking Gordie Howe's record of all-time games played by playing in his 1,768th game on Monday night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Marleau broke into the NHL in 1997 and has played for 23 seasons. I didn't realize he's played that long.
It was him and
Joe Thornton came in 97 too.
Yeah.
But Thornton's played in 1,670 games.
Yeah.
So, I think he missed some time to injury and all that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I forgot because I was playing hockey and I forgot all about it. Then I saw the clip of the entire Vegas Night players.
Wasn't that great?
And shook his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was fantastic.
That was awesome.
I'll tell you,
it's a huge achievement.
It is.
Games.
It sure is. And, at first, it's like, oh, man, one of Gordie Howe's records got broke, but then you think about it. You know what, though? I mean, Marleau's played 23 seasons, and he's played 82-game seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, not to take away from Gordie Howe, but when he was playing, the most that they played in a regular season, I think, was like 68 or something like that.
Yeah.
So for what Marleau did is absolutely incredible.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's one of those records that, it's like, Gordie Howe's record came down. But I'm one of the guys that always says, like, every record's meant to be broken. Yeah, it's sad to see it be broken, but at the same time, you're kind of like, it almost couldn't have been broken by a better guy.
Exactly. He's a great guy.
Didn't he also break another one of Gordie Howe's records? Didn't he just?
Marlowe?
Yeah,
No.
I
No.
thought-
No, it's
I
still
thought he might
it's
have broken
Marlowe
a different one.
very impressive. And you think about all the playoff games he's played too, just say that kind of durability to last that
Yeah.
long is something else. So congrats to Patrick Marlowe. Up next, the Ontario Hockey League has decided to cancel its 2021 season after all. There was plans to try to get a 24-game season in, but OHL officials and province of Ontario health officials have decided against it. The other two major junior hockey leagues, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League and Western Hockey League, have been playing abbreviated seasons, but this year's Memorial Cup is canceled. That's too bad. That really is. I feel bad for those kids in the Ontario Hockey League. It's gonna make this draft interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. It's gonna. I saw that and I was kind of like, it's from knowing a lot of people out that way and seeing that they've just they haven't rebounded from this COVID.
No,
There's things that still have just been shut down, have not been reopened. And I mean, it's almost like they're worse than we are. Like, we're complaining that we're just reopening. They haven't
Right.
reopened at all.
right, exactly. So hopefully next year they'll be able to get a full season in, and hopefully. Anyways, hot take number 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have a little news out of Utica College.
Oh, okay, sure.
Connor Landrigan has
Mhm.
just signed with the Tulsa Oilers in the ECHL.
ECHL, really?
Yes.
Excellent. Congratulations, Connor. That's awesome.
That
is
came over
great.
That came over the wire, I don't know, a few hours ago. So
Really? That's fantastic. Good for him. That's great news. Speaking of Utica, the Utica Comets are now in 4th place in the AHL North Division with a a 567 winning percentage after dropping their past 2 games. They have games this Friday in Rochester and Sunday afternoon in Syracuse before returning home Wednesday night to once again face the Crunch. The big news is that Robert Esch has trademarked the Utica Devils and that the New Jersey Devils are looking to pull their AHL affiliate out of Binghamton. So what do you guys think? Are the Devils coming back to the Mohawk Valley? Now, Barry, you said you saw an article in the paper about this.
Right. Well, it came out today officially. The Devils did notify Binghamton that they will no longer be in Binghamton. But I saw an article in the Observer saying that the president of the auditorium in Utica says he hasn't received any word about Vancouver pulling out, and he just takes it as a grain of salt. And I know the team that Vancouver was thinking about moving to, they came out about 20 minutes before your show saying this. Vancouver stated there's no way that they were gonna put the team up in Canada. Abbotsfield.
Abbotsford.
Yeah, because they were saying they were gonna have it, but then the Vancouver said that they weren't gonna go there. So I'm just curious how the fans going to react tonight since Binghamton's playing the Comets there. The Devils are going. I'm wondering, what the reactions will be with the fans towards the Devil players,
Right.
and the Comets. I'm going to hate seeing the Comets go. I remember when the Devils were here, when Herb Brooks was the coach, and they didn't really. I think they lasted 5 years.
5 years. Yep.
And the Devils have not stayed in any particular town, that long. They were Albany, they were in Utica, they were, Binghamton, and,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, but, I know it's almost a done deal, but to me, I have a feeling that the Comets will be here next year.
Jeremy, what do you think?
I don't know.
He knows.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it would.
Well, I'll
be
tell you
nice
what. Will it make you feel better if they have a Zamboni with a hot tub on it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Ash
And the
just
Devil,
did
the
that.
Utica Devils, they come from they say they come from under the ground, and it's all fiery down there, and they can put the fire just underneath the Zamboni and keep the water warm. That's as
Ed,
far
what
as
do you
that's
think?
gonna- I don't.
Well,
I mean, I think it would be a good thing if they came back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel, first of all, I feel sorry for the players of the Binghamton Devils. I feel sorry for them because here these kids are out without an arena again. And I didn't like what the Devils did to Utica the first time. Of course, that's Lou Lamorello. And I don't care for him anyhow. And then Down in Albany, when you played down there, we went down and
Mhm.
watched you. Then we watched the Comet and Devil games. There was more Comet fans there than there was Devil fans, and
Yeah,
that was sad. And then now they go to Binghamton and they lose there. And as a
The funny
season
thing
ticket
is-
holder, I don't know if I want to buy tickets again for season tickets for the Devils if they come. I have to weigh this out for the season.
When you
But
see
figure-
things like this, the team when they're pulling out, they already know where they're going.
Yeah.
They already know what's going on. The deal may not be set in stone, but they already have everything going in motion. They're going to keep their AHL affiliate. It's just what city are they going to put them in?
Well, I
And
think,
they're
you
not
know,
going to go. They're not going to go so far as, they're not going to do like a Utica Vancouver thing. They're going to keep them pretty close to the metropolitan area. Let alone if they come back to Utica, they are technically just a train ride away. So.
well, I think probably what really kind of accelerated this too, and not just from the Binghamton end, but for for Vancouver with the border being closed this season, really made things complicated too. And I mean, I think things will be better by next season, of course, but maybe they're kind of starting to think, well, maybe there is some benefits of having our team a little bit closer. So
yeah.
But I mean, I'm just going to be sad to see the Comets name go. I'm really going to be sad about that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, that should the Devils return, I want them back in the green and red. That's what I want.
I mean,
and I do know that there's going to be an awful lot of painting that's going to need to be done at the odd. So,
well, that comes also in with the NHL affiliate.
Right.
So,
so we'll see. Maybe we'll have some more clarification by next week, but who knows?
And I don't think we can take what Esh did about filing for the trademark. I think he just did that to cover his butt. If he doesn't know yet, he wanted the first crack at it. So a lot of people said, oh, it's a done deal because he did that. But the way I'm thinking, well, he's probably covering all his bases. Doesn't mean that they're going to be the Utica Devils. So, but if by chance it does fall tomorrow, at least he can, he has that.
Will he have anything to do with the Devils, Ash? Anybody?
I'm sure he would. I mean,
he's still going to be in the area. He's not going to go over the. Okay.
Again, that's going to be all details that are going to have to come out in the
He just has the odd. I believe he just stays with the odd.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure. That's all.
Yeah.
Because he's done an awful lot for the city of Utica too.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's gonna about do it for hot takes. Like I said, hopefully we have some more news on that next week. So as always, we're going to end segment 2 with Website of the Week. Website of the Week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's Website of the Week is wejustscored.com. This is a cool little site. I have it on my phone saved in there. It's you can get any goal horn or any goal song from any NHL team, including the Hartford Whalers. So you can play the Brass Bonanza at any time you feel like it. So really cool website. Check it out when you get a chance. So we're going to take our last commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to take a ride on that Zamboni Time Machine. See you in a few.
I'm going to take off.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
And we're back for the last segment of Marty's Illegal Stick, the Zamboni Time Machine. The Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission. And don't forget, you can catch Jimmy's podcast on Zamboni.com, so check that out. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to April 1950, the last time the NHL's forgotten trophy, the O'Brien Trophy, would be presented. The O'Brien Trophy, you could say, was a version of the Stanley Cup. It was the championship trophy of the National Hockey Association, or NHA, which was the league the National Hockey League was formed out of. The trophy was donated in 1910 by a Canadian senator named Michael O'Brien in the name of his son Ambrose. Ambrose O'Brien was one of the founders of the National Hockey Association and also had a hand in the formation of the Montreal Canadiens. When the NHA folded and the NHL was born in 1917, the O'Brien Trophy was given to the National Hockey League. It was decided that the trophy would be given to the playoff champion of the NHL. Remember, Up until 1926, the Stanley Cup was actually a challenge trophy in which teams from other leagues could challenge the NHL's champions for. The Prince of Wales Trophy, which is today given to the Eastern Conference playoff champion, was inaugurated in 1925. And that, along with the O'Brien Trophy, was given to the NHL playoff champion. By 1927, the NHL had expanded so much that it was realigned into 2 divisions. It was also at this time that the Stanley Cup was sole property of the NHL and would be given to the league's playoff champion. This meant the O'Brien Trophy would be given to the champion of the Canadian division, while the Prince of Wales Trophy was awarded to the American division champs. This arrangement would last for 10 years. The Great Depression really took a toll on the NHL, and by 1939, so many franchises folded that the league was back to only 1 division. At this point, the league decreed that the O'Brien Trophy would be awarded to the Stanley Cup final runner-up. However, the trophy was not actually presented to teams until 1944. After the 1950 Stanley Cup final, the O'Brien Trophy was forever retired and now resides in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. The O'Brien Trophy would go out with a little bit of notoriety. The New York Rangers made a Cinderella run to the 1950 final to face Gordie Howe and the mighty Detroit Red Wings. To even further stack the odds against the Rangers, they were forced to play all their finals games on the road, as the circus had taken over Madison Square Garden, and at this time, the Garden could not be transformed into a hockey rink overnight. Despite having to play their home games in Toronto, the Rangers took the Red Wings all the way to double overtime of Game 7 before they were finally defeated. As a consolation, they were the last ever winners of the O'Brien Trophy, and that, my friends, concludes this week's trip on the Zamboni Time Machine. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah. Lost in double overtime again.
I got the Rangers into the Zamboni Time Machine. He's upset.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Lost.
better luck next time.
Well, we got the trophy.
No, actually, the Hockey Hall of Fame has the trophy.
Well, yeah, but we got.
it.
Do we want it to
Well, I think that's going to conclude this week's Marty's Illegal Stick. Now that we got you all upset again, so don't forget you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast, and we're also on YouTube under the My Little Falls banner. You can find us on the web at martysillegalstick.com and also at mylittlefalls.com. So I want to thank everybody, but thank Leo Kinville. I want to thank Barry Shelley. I want to thank Jeremy Roberts, Dave Desai Warner, and of course our guest, Jimmy the Iceman MacNeil. I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.